What's good? It's your boy Fanon. All right, man. This is a little delayed, but I'm going to do my reaction to the face-off conversation or face-to-face conversation between Errol Spence Jr. and Mikey Garcia. And first of all, Mikey Garcia impresses me, man. And second of all, Errol Spence Jr. is a different kind of guy, man. So I'm gonna go over what my reaction is to it. And both guys impressed me and they got me really amped for the fight. Now, before I get into the specifics of it, I want to welcome you back to the channel, subscribers. If you're not subscribed, I hope that you would accept my invitation to subscribe and hit the bell icon so you can be notified of when we release more videos. Also, we do live streams every morning, Monday through Friday, starting right after Trail Boxing Talk goes off the air. And that's usually between 10:15 and 10:45 a.m. Central Standard Time, depending on how many super chats and different conversations they have going on over there. And as soon as they're off, that's when we come on over here. Now, also, and check out the Patreon, man. We got really good stuff going over there, coming off on the daily over there, man. I'm doing daily Patreon content. I think that you'll enjoy it. All right, Mikey Garcia. First of all, I'm going to tell you why Mikey Garcia impressed me, man. Because Mikey Garcia was trying to mean mug Errol Spence. And I'd never seen that before. Every other time that I've seen Mikey Garcia fights in a fight or in a face-to-face or a conversation, he always seems to be very calm, very matter-of-fact, right? He doesn't often, during the face-to-face, during the stare downs, he'll kind of give, that kind of mean look. But in this particular one, I was just with Errol Spence on Fox, and you can check it out on Fox. I think you can get it on Fox On Demand. You can, if you have Fox, and you can also get it. You also check it out on Fox, the app, Fox Go app. He was really, really mean mugging and not blinking, staring in the face of Errol Spence. And Errol Spence's face looked a little bit more relaxed. And it was kind of like Mikey Garcia was trying to let Errol Spence know that, that he's somebody that Mikey Garcia, is somebody that Errol Spence Jr. needs to be worried about. And that was supported, and he doubled down with it. Not only did I see it in his face, but I heard it in his words, where he said to Errol Spence that this fight is not going to be as easy as you think it's going to be. And so I thought to myself, okay, so when you say something like that, Mikey's making the assumption that Errol thinks that Mikey is going to be easy money. So he wanted to tell him in his facial expression and in his words that that's not going to be the case. Which means that this is the first time that Mikey Garcia really feels as if he's the underdog, and he's looking forward to the chance of proving to a bigger guy that he is somebody to be really, really worried about. Similar to how I'm sure if he was in school and he was a shorter dude, because Mike Garcia is not the tallest guy in the world. He's kind of thick dude, but not the tallest guy in the world. And, some big guy is trying to bully him. And he's like, look, man, this is not going to be that easy. And he goes up and beats up the bigger guy. And it seems to be the mentality that he has. It's what he's been saying the whole time. And it kind of showed there. Now, the part that where it also translated is I've been watching some video on him hitting the heavy bag. And Errol Spence Jr. in the interview said that he watches Mikey Garcia. And I'll get into the Errol Spence Jr. part of it in a second. But I'm watching how Mikey Garcia is hitting a heavy bag on Ellie Sethback's channel. And I'm thinking, and I had to watch it a few times. And I watched Errol Spence Jr.'s body shots on his bag. And I looked at some other people hitting the heavy bag. And Mikey Garcia is like winding up. Like I'm not somebody that typically talks about the technique that somebody hits on a pad, right? On a bag, or their punching technique, because what the effect is what matters more so than how you get there. But he had these kind of real looping when he pivoted backwards, then he pivoted forwards, right? So it was like a 1-2 to the body bag. I mean, to the heavy bag, which made the bag make a lot of noise and made the bag move. It put a big dent in the bag, similar to the way George Foreman would hit a bag when he would put that big dent in the bag, but even with more of a hook to it, even more wide, even more of a shift back, moving his back shoulder back and then moving forward like a wind up. Then I looked at Errol Spence Jr. hitting the bag, and Errol Spence Jr. is just, he's lighting off the bag. He's not moving his shoulder back at all. All he's doing is leaning into it. And I'm thinking to myself that if they're exchanging body blows, if they're going to go body for body, and Mikey Garcia throws his shots like that, like he's hitting that bag with, he's going to get hit in the middle of that because he's winding up too much. But I believe that the guy has a lot better technique than that. He's just, for the camera, trying to put on a real show of power, right? So it's like he's trying to intimidate Errol Spence. So I'm looking forward to this fight, man. And I'm thinking that, hey, there's a chance that Mikey might actually come to fight. He might actually come sit down and try to do some damage to Errol Spence. And if he does that, hey, man, it'll be a fun fight while it lasts. And he'll get a lot of credit for it. But he impressed me, man. He's making me wonder, look, man, can this little dude really come in there and handle his business? Now, Errol Spence, on the other hand, refuted all of that by saying, basically saying, I'm paraphrasing, I'm not underestimating you. I'm training for you like this is the fight of my life. I'm not, I'm not playing around, but I don't know who you think I am. I don't know why you think I'm Antonio Margarito, and I'm just going to be marching forward towards you, right? So, and I'm just going to be a punching bag for you. And then Mikey Garcia said something to the effect of, well, what if you can't hit me? And Errol Spence retorted saying, man, who doesn't hit you? Right? Who doesn't hit you? You always getting hit. Like, he absolutely disrespected Mikey Garcia's defense. Like, man, you're not some super elusive fighter. You're going to be there to hit. And the question is, and the lines are, man, it's like, hey, man, I see you doing all this lifting, all this strength, but I don't ever see that fix a chin, right? I never seen working out fix a chin. So what you going to do? And we going to test. He's like, yeah, we're going to see. And Errol's like, yeah, we're going to see. We're going to see in the first round whether you can take it or not, right? Like, I'm coming right for you, but don't think I'm just Antonio Margarito when I can't think and I can't do. It was a really, really good conversation. It was a really intense conversation. And one thing that I liked about what Errol Spence Jr. said is when Errol said, yeah, you always doing talking, right? Because the commentator asked them, who's the best at speed? Errol said, me. Who's the fastest? Me. Who hits the hardest? Me. Right? Who's the strongest? Me. Who's the better boxer? Me. And so then Mikey Garcia said that, he's not going to do a lot of talking. He'll let his talking do it in the ring. He'll do his talking in the ring. Errol Spence came back and pointed out the fact that he's like, Mike, you always talking. You always on Ellie Sethpack talking about how you're going to knock me out, how you're going to do this, how you're going to do that. You're always talking. And Mikey Garcia smiled and said, aha, you saw that, huh? He's like, yeah, I saw that. He's like, y'all, you watching me. Now, I think the reason he said he watching me is like, oh, yeah, you concerned, you worried about me. He's like, yeah, why wouldn't I look at you? Why wouldn't I watch what you're doing? And that thing right there just showed the mindset of me, right? Of the two people to me. Mikey Garcia really wants to try to intimidate Errol Spence Jr. Because the thing that he's missing in this fight than he is in most of his other fights is that Errol Spence Jr. is not inclined to walk in there and be intimidated by Mikey Garcia. In fact, he thinks that Mikey Garcia is insulting him more than anything else because he's the bigger guy, he's the champion. He's the southpaw dude with 10 straight knockouts at that weight class, right? So Mikey is trying to get that when he was in that face off and in that conversation, trying to get the psychological edge. So it was really, really interesting watching it. Now, I don't think Errol Spence Jr. was trying to get a psychological edge. Errol Spence Jr. was just like, man, look, I'm gonna beat you up. I mean, you can think I'm not going to beat you up if you want to think. You can have all the confidence in the world. You can bring all the skill that you need to bring in the ring. But we're going to find out, man, because he said when talent fails, when speed fails, power fails, talent fails, IQ fails, then you got grit. And the question is, do you have grit? If all that stuff fails you, are you going to be able to dig in? Are you going to be able to go at it, man? So I'm really looking forward to it, man. I think it's going to be a very, very good fight. If Mikey Garcia can hang, if Mikey Garcia ain't everything he's cracked up to be, and then about 5%, it's going to be a lot of trouble on him, man. Because Errol Spence, I've been a fan of Errol Spence for a while, but I'm watching the cat he does not waste energy. He does not waste his form and technique is very, very tight. His attack, even when I looked at those guys hitting the body bag, I'm looking at the shots they're throwing on the body bag. The shots, I said the heavy bag, right? Which is meant to look like, a body standing in front of you. I always think the body bag. But the heavy bag, even the shots he's throwing on the heavy bag are tight. They're in the middle of the chest and towards the side of and towards the side and towards the rib, and it's coming from a southpaw stance and all of that stuff. Even when he's not throwing super hard, it connects. It connects solidly. And by the way, man, I'll do another one on this misnomer that people have, that punching power, because I'm not even going to get into that, man. Errol Spence Jr. is hitting you, can really crack to the body, and most of it comes because it's so tight. There's not a lot of wind up to it. It gets from point A to point B very quickly, and it has very good leverage on it. I don't believe Mikey Garcia, that the bag that he was hitting, I just don't believe that, man. I don't believe he's going to be throwing body shots like that in a fight. Because if he's throwing body shots, leaning into body shots like that in a fight, he's going to get hit with something. I mean, he's going to get hit with something big right up the middle, right to his chest, right to his solar plexus. It's just that's not going to work, and I think he's doing it more to intimidate the people watching the video than he is really trying to tighten up his technique and make sure that he can go to the body really well, like I'm sure he knows how to do. But anyway, it is what it is, and with that, I'm out. Peace.